Hello and welcome to
Gang
That
that
Drink.
drink. Oh yeah,
That was a satisfying snap there,
it was clean.
Nate.
It was super clean.
It's a supernatural drinking game podcast. What is a supernatural drinking game podcast, you ask? Why, it's a podcast where we make up drinking game rules for our favorite episodes of our favorite show, Supernatural. And then we recap the episodes and tell you how those rules played.
That's the gist.
That's the gist. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we tell you what the next episode is going to be and what the rules are for that. So if you want a preview of the next episode and to get the rules ahead of time, then you stay to the end.
We're a show that will get you kind of drunk and give you homework. That's our vibe. That's what we're going for here.
Drunk homework.
Drunk homework. Or homework, drinking homework. I don't know. Either one. That is our vibe. Krissy, you said my name. I just said yours. Let's tell the people who we are. Who are you?
I'm Krissy Lenz, one of the directors of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona.
And I'm Nate McWhorter, performer and teacher and doer of general things at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. It's so good to be with you. Excited about our episode tonight.
I am.
It is your episode.
It is, which means I'm going to be doing the recap of season 4, episode 17. It's a Terrible Life.
Isn't it ever? But not a terrible episode.
No, a weird one.
Weird, very weird. It's like a little French Connection-y in a way.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a couple episodes that I feel like I can recall that are like adjacent to it. I feel like the episode where Dean checks himself into the mental hospital, or when the boys check themselves into the prison, are kind of like almost similar, where you're like, they got to escape. The mystery spot, I think, is a similar type episode, or Changing Channels, like kind of where it's like,
almost like a bottle episode.
Yeah, it's a bottle episode. They're being held. I like it. What are you drinking right now? I didn't ask you this earlier. What did we crack at the beginning?
I cracked open a passion fruit LaCroix.
Nice.
What are you having?
I actually am going today with a Schilling hard cider. This is the seasonal spiced cider, which is a chai flavored cider. This is actually from last year.
Wow, is it still delicious?
It's very good. It tastes like a chai tea, but it's got alcohol in it, 6.5%. From the Schilling Hard Cider Company out of Washington, and the state that is, and it's super good. And my family all loves it, so much so that when it was like the end of the season last year, both like Abby and my dad and like people went out and like bought all the rest of it from every store. Like every time I found some in a store, I was like, oh, here's some more, and they would just go buy it. So my dad literally has like a stockpile in the house, and yeah, anyway, so far this year it's supposedly been out, but I haven't seen it anywhere. And I work for the distributor. I work for the company that puts it out. I haven't even seen it. And so I'm just excited that we still have a little stockpile left. My dad's been giving it to people as gifts all throughout the year for birthdays and like occasions and stuff.
So sweet.
Just like give him a 6-pack of the cider. So it's a family drink, and Abby put some in the fridge the other day, and so I'm having one now.
Excellent. That's excellent. All right, should we go over the rules?
Let's hear dem rules.
All right, there's not that many. Season 4, episode 17, It's a Terrible Life. We're talking about Sam's dreams. We're seeing Sam's dreams. We're talking about Sam's dreams. We're thinking about Sam's dreams. We're taking a drink.
Yeah.
When we see the copiers and the sharpener, we're taking a drink.
Copiers and sharpeners. Copiers and sharpeners.
When someone dies, we're taking a drink. When we see the ghost breath, we're taking a drink. When we go to room 1444, we're taking a drink. We're playing the Sammy rule.
Sammy!
So anytime someone says Sammy, you got to go, Sammy, and take a drink. And our shot or double drink for this episode is when we see the ghost facers.
Ghost
facers. So those are our rules. All right. Here we go. Then Castiel is saying, we have work for you. The angels have work for you. You have to stop the apocalypse. And Dean is like, find somebody else. I'm not strong enough. Now, the alarm goes off and Dean is snazzy. And it's that song, and he's oh so good. And he's oh so fine.
By the Kinks, I believe. Yes.
Oh, very nice.
A well-respected man. Yeah.
He's getting ready. It's a montage of him being like very corporate in his blue striped button-up shirt. He's making himself a coffee. Yeah, it's really good. He gets in his car and classic rock is playing, and he changes it to NPR. What's going on?
Ooh, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Dean Smith is the name on his little desky name tag.
Director of
and
sales.
He's in a corporate setting. And it's a montage of him eating salads and doing phone calls and his boss coming in and going, big stuff.
Phone calls about salads, phone calls about cleanses. The what was that? The honey water
cayenne
pepper cleanse that was like super popular at the time.
Yeah. And he is playing golf on like a little mini golf.
Yeah, he's got a little putting green there in his office, like all the very great imagery to like get across exactly where like what he is.
Mm-hmm. He gets in the elevator and sees Sam, who's wearing a yellow polo. And Sam is like, you look really familiar. And Dean's like, save it for the health club.
I don't get that line.
I don't either.
Like, is that where you're supposed to just casually like make chit chat with the dudes?
I think he was saying you're trying to pick me up.
Yeah, that's what. At first, I was like, I thought maybe Sam was like, I couldn't remember if like, does he work at a health club? Like that polo makes it seem like, but no, they work for the same company.
They work for the same company. Yeah. Sam's in IT.
Yeah.
So this is where we get the first copy and pencil sharpener little blurb. It's like a little like scene changer thing. So take a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Wesson. So their names are Smith and Wesson.
Yes. Yeah, caught on that right away. I was like, oh, when I saw Dean Smith, I was like, all right, what's Sam's last name going to be? Wesson? Perfect.
Yep.
Of course.
He's working in tech support and he's like got his little vampire bobblehead and he's like, did you turn it off and turn it back on? Turn it off and turn it back on. Sammy has a friend who also works in the IT department who's like a real slacker. He's like a real, I don't know, slacker is the only word I can think of.
He's the actual Roy from IT Crowd. A little bit, like he's wearing the like grungy stuff. He's, that's why we had the line. Did you turn it off? Did you turn it off and turn it back on again? Yeah, he's the actual like Roy from IT Crowd. It was good nods by the Supernatural.
Yeah.
On that one.
They go to take a coffee break and they try and bring their third friend with them, but he can't go because he's now a workaholic. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, I've got work. And they're like, okay, that's weird. They go into the coffee room and the friend Ian asks about Sammy's dreams. Take a drink.
Yeah. Oh, like, tell me about those dreams, bro. Those dreams you've been telling me about are so cool. I feel like I'm there.
I dreamed I saved what does he say? I dreamed I saved a Grim Reaper named Tess from
death?
From something.
Save death from a Grim Reaper named Tess, or Tess from a Grim Reaper from death? I don't know. Yeah, something like, because he referenced, this is like right after they beat death, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's an episode I just watched. Gosh dang this show sometimes. Sharpen and copy,
take a drink.
I counted. I mean, they always happen together. There's never just like a time when it's like, oh, just copy, or oh, just sharpener. It's always sharpener and
Sharpener and copy.
copper together. Yeah.
Sammy dozes and we get to see his dreams, so take another drink.
Only time. No, there's one
Uh,
at a time. Yeah.
and he sees Dean, but he sees Dean in his dream.
Yeah. So yeah, only time we see the dream is with Dean in it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Chopping up some vamps or something.
So in the elevator again, he's with Dean and he says, "Can I ask you a question? What do you think about ghosts?" And he tells Dean about his dreams. Take another drink. Copy and sharpen. Take another drink. It's monotony. Right? It's just his job. It's monotony. His slacker friend has to go to HR for a meeting. And the other work friend, the one who's now become a workaholic, is has lost a day of work and he's freaking out.
Bad.
Yeah, so he stays late. He can't recover his work, so he microwaves his face in what is a gruesome and terrible scene.
It is nasty.
So we see the ghost breath right before he does it.
They set up that, by the way, I love the setup for that, though, which was in the first scene when we're getting to know new Sam and his little slacker buddy. They go make popcorn, and we get what I've been calling lately the Vince Gilligan shot, which is the like camera inside the microwave with then the popcorn bag going into it, which is of course then the same shot we get when the guy puts his head into the microwave. And all because of the X-Files and stuff I've been watching. I'm just like loving seeing like Vince Gilligan and even inspired shots out in the world. So, but good setup and a gruesome death. And like, look, at some point, and I know it's only season 4, but like, you gotta come up with some creative ways to kill some people in this show.
I guess so, but it was just so gross.
It can't all always just be like ghosts, possessions, vampires, decapitations. Like, you gotta come up, like, I mean, as writers, you get bored. You like, how else can we kill a guy? Head in a microwave? Sure. Let's do it. Get props and makeup on the phone.
Get effects on the phone. We need some zappies.
Yeah.
So we did 2 drinks there for the ghost breath and because someone dies.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, everyone is weirded out. The slacker friend is now wearing a polo and he's a workaholic. What?
Yeah. Big change.
Big change. He goes to see Dean. Dean has called him up to his office and he's like, "You filled out the wrong form, man. We just switched to these new forms. So you filled out the wrong form. You just got to fill out this new form and we'll be all set." And he freaks out. He's like, "I failed the company. I failed Sandover. I'm a failure. I failed the company. I failed Sandover." And he goes to the bathroom freaking out and stabs himself in the neck with a pencil. Ew.
Even more gruesome. Even more gruesome than the microwave. But also good. Good, like, if we're rating supernatural death scenes, like, this was solid.
Yeah. So Dean had followed him into the bathroom. We got ghost breath. The soap was pouring out everywhere. Take a drink for the ghost breath and take a drink because someone dies.
Just a great set piece in general. The whole thing in the bathroom, like the all the faucets turning on, the soap just spilling out over. A plus. I really loved it. I loved it in a like horror sense because it's, I would not to keep it from being timeless, but like we are recording this around the Halloweeny time, and so it was kind of a great little Halloween episode to have this kind of a lot of creepy stuff and some gruesome, bloody deaths.
Yeah.
Right around the time I'm watching Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger do the same.
Copy sharpen, take a drink.
So many.
Dean calls Sam to his office and he's like, "Something weird is going on. What if ghosts are real?" And Sammy's like, "Yeah, there's something not natural about it."
Like extra natural, like uber natural sense to it. I can't think of the word. Ugh.
And he's like, "I did some hacking. Ian and Paul got called up to a meeting of HR in room 1444. So let's go check it out." So they take a drink for room 1444 being mentioned.
Yeah.
Then take another drink because they do go check it out. And there's a nice little scene where he's like, should we go check it out? No, it's getting late. And he's like, I am dying to go check it
I
out right
need
now.
to. I feel like I'm compelled to.
So in 1444, there's some other guy up there when Dean and Sam show up and a ghost attacks them. Dean whacks it away with a wrench and it dissipates. They go to Dean's house, which is like a corporate palace. And he's like, how did we do that? And Sammy is like, it's like we used to do this before. I feel like we should be doing something else. Like it's our fate. And he's arguing for fate and destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And Dean, of course, because he's still Dean somewhere deep
Team
down
free
inside,
will.
is like, I don't believe in destiny.
Right.
But it's time to do what I do best. Research. He finds the ghost facers. Take your double drink or take your shot. And the ghost facers are like, here's what you do when you find a ghost. Here's how you know it's a ghost. Here's how you can kill a ghost. And Dean is just like, these guys are so smart and cool.
But of course, they're literally attributing most of this information to these D-bags, the Winchesters.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. And of course, because in the last time we saw the Ghostfacers, Sam and Dean like wiped a bunch of their footage that included them, so they wouldn't. Because when Abby's watching this with me, she's like, "Why you telling me they wouldn't Google the Winchesters? They wouldn't look themselves up?" And I was like, "Yeah, but remember they destroyed all the footage. They erased all their stuff because this is only like the second time I think we've seen Ghostfacers.
The Ghostfacers? It's the third time.
It's the third time. Ah, crap. Well, they don't have footage of these guys basically, like a whole lot, so they're not able to look up the Winchester brothers, because that is a fair plot hole to potentially raise. It's like, wouldn't they immediately look up Winchesters if these guys were referencing them, if the Ghostfacers were referencing them? I don't
know. If Dean's super good at research, I guess he would.
Right.
So they put together that PT Sandover used to be the head of the company, and his ghost is taking over and turning the non-efficient workers into good little worker bees because the company's in trouble. And he did this also back in the 1920s when the company was in trouble. Room 1444 used to be Sandover's office. Take another drink. So Sam and Dean go hunting at the office. And he says at one point, set your cell phone to walkie-talkie in case we get separated. And I was just like, what? Oh my God. What a dated. Remember when we used to play outdated tech all the time?
Yeah. I had thought about, that was a very specific moment in time where we had cell phones, but they had walkie-talkie mode. I'm sure there's some that still do, because there's like jobs that were like really heavily reliant on that kind of tech. Maybe there still are, like on construction sites and stuff, but
yeah,
then you could also just have a walkie-talkie
or just make a phone call.
Yeah, but it was in situations where you needed to be connected like quickly, but not constantly, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
A security guard finds Sammy snooping around in 1444. They go into the elevator because he's going to take him to the cops, and we get ghost breath. Take a drink.
Talking about some ghost breath.
Baby, ghost breath. And the guy gets smashed by the elevator. The elevator stops. He opens the door. He climbs partially out, and then he turns around to try and get Sammy, and he's like, I don't have the rest of my life, man. And then kablooey, he gets chopped in half, and another gruesome, bloody death.
Yeah. That one was that one was pretty brutal.
So take a drink. Someone dies. And Sammy just like, how does he get out of the elevator after that with half a guy in there with him?
I another good set piece and another good just like horror movie like suspenseful fake out moment where they're like, oh, the first time when he crawls out, nope, he made it, and now you're like, no, now what are they going to do? And then, of course, he crawls back in, and you're like, yep, this is it. This is it, and blood.
But why would the ghost kill the security guard? Because he's being a good worker.
I don't know.
Just so we get another gross, bloody death.
Yeah, I think the writers were just basically like, we just want another gruesome death scene, and to make life hard and more difficult for our props department.
We've always wanted to squish someone with an elevator.
Exactly. I think that is there had to have been at least a section of a whiteboard in the Supernatural Writers Room at all times dedicated to means of death.
Mm-hmm.
Just means, like motive, what opportunity, whatever. No, just means had to have been a list. And so this was an episode where they were like, all right, let's get some of these crossed off. Elevator, pencil in the neck, microwave head. All right. Are you guys satisfied? Can we go back to, what is this, season 4? What are we talking? We go back to introducing angels into the plot line. And
But the only thing that Sammy says about the whole incident is he goes, you should take the stairs to Dean.
Yeah, that's all. I'm going to take the stairs.
He just wipes the blood off his face, and he's still covered in blood.
And I love it. He's like, oh, that's a lot of blood. And he's just like, yeah.
I know.
And this is what I already cleaned up.
Yep. So Dean finds gloves that used to belong to P.T. Sandover, and he's like, all right, this is what we got to burn since he was cremated and we can't dig up his body. We got to burn these gloves, and that's how the ghost facers taught them how to kill the ghost.
It's so season 4.
Yeah.
Like, if this were even 2 seasons later, the gloves wouldn't have been it. It would have been something else. Like, it would have had to destroy. Gloves would have been a fake out or a decoy. Like, yeah. I just love that it was the gloves.
Yep. We get ghost breath, take a drink, and then we get a ghost fight. The ghost is really giving them what for. They're swatting at it with fireplace pokers, but Sammy burns the gloves. The ghost disappears, and they're like, "That was amazing. I've never had so much fun." And Sammy is, of course, like, "We should keep doing this." And Dean's like, "What do you mean, like the ghost facers? You don't want to fight ghosts without any health insurance. What are we going to do? Go from town to town using stolen credit cards? Fighting ghosts everywhere we go? What a terrible life." Sammy talks about his dreams again. Take a drink. And he's like, "You were in my dream. What if that's who we are? We were like best friends. No, we were more like brothers. And what if that's who we really are? Don't you feel like this isn't really who we are?" And Dean's like, "I have a family. My dad's name is Bob. My mom's name is Ellen. And my sister's name is Joe." Oh, it made me so sad.
It did, for Dean's fake, not real family.
Mm-hmm. It's Bobby, Ellen, and Joe.
Yeah. Good writing. Good call.
And he's like, "Are you saying they're not real?" And he's like, "When was the last time you talked to them? When was the last time you saw them?" And he's like, "This is weird. You're being weird." Dean is being very resistant. And I mean, it's like he got the better job out of the two of them. So maybe that's why he's more resistant, because he's got a pretty comfortable life. All right. Copy and sharpen, carpy and sharpen. Take a drink. Back at work. Sam's at work the next day, which, like, how do they just like walk out of there with a half a guy in an elevator? And the mess they left.
There's a lot of logistic issues in this episode in general.
Mm-hmm.
This was, again, whiteboard crossing things off.
Sam has an Office Space moment. He chops up his phone with the fireplace poker that he still has, apparently, and he says, "I quit."
Great scene.
Dean is still at work, and his boss comes in and is like, "You're doing good work, Dean. In 8 to 10 short years, you could be senior VP." And Dean is finally like, "I think I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. I think there's something else I'm supposed to be doing."
I also quit.
And the boss goes, "Dean, Dean, Dean. Finally." And we reveal that he's an angel. He is Zachariah. He's Castiel's superior, and this was all a lesson.
Yeah, it's Kurt Fuller.
It's what?
Kurt Fuller.
The actor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in all sorts of things.
Yeah, he was just in The Running Man that I watched for my other podcast. And he's like, we put you here. There was a real haunting. We put Sam here. And he's like, you have, this is what you are. You're a hunter and you'll find your way to it in the dark every time. You get to change things. You get to save people. You get to hunt things. Plus, you get to drive a classic car and fornicate with women. So stop complaining. There are fates worse than yours. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, a weird end. It's a very abrupt ending.
It is. But we meet another angel. We meet Zachariah, and he's gonna be fucking with the boys.
Oh, he's in it the whole rest of the season for sure.
Yep. But I kind of like the theme of this episode, which is like, it's sort of against the whole fate free will thing, because it's like, this is what you're born to do. It's in your blood. You're gonna become a hunter no matter what situation you find yourself in. You're gonna find Sam. You're gonna hunt things and save people.
Yeah, and it's really like a big theme of this season, obviously, as well. And the following season, which gives us like changing channels, which has, of course, the theme of like fall in line, do as you're told, like just
do what these bossy ass angels tell you to do.
Yeah, that's these self-righteous angels, all of and getting into Lucifer and getting into all that, but then we get Castiel, but then Castiel is at times also just a bossy angel, and all the fun that comes with that. So I think that I like this episode because as like a good bottle episode, it doesn't have a whole lot of I'm not really dealing with anything outside of this. It is one though, like if it's not one I would recommend to someone like who's never watched the show before, because most of the enjoyment and jokes and a lot of things you're gonna get out of this are like if you know
Right.
if you're familiar with these characters, if you're like because I think it would be pretty kind of boring if you were if you didn't know
if you didn't
anything
get
about
any
the
of the
show.
joke.
You're like, okay, what? I liked it. 1444, room 1444. Those numbers add up to 13, which is of course people don't usually put and which would really actually be the 13th floor, because whenever this building was built they probably didn't number the 13th floor 13. They would have numbered it 14, so it's probably room 1344, which then ruins the whole adding numbers up to 13 anyway.
Speaking of numbers, how did our rules play out?
Yeah, I'm very interested in this because I think I really slacked down the stretch on counting rules. How many Sam's dreams or references to Sam's dreams did you get?
6.
I got 5. All right.
Okay, you're close.
Yeah.
Maybe you missed the one at the end where he's like, in my dreams, you're there.
I probably did. Like I said, down the stretch, I was really fading on paying attention to rules.
It was because there were so many copy and sharpeners.
Many. It was like the what's the song from Mystery Spot that plays over and over?
Heat of the moment.
That one. Yeah, I was like Heat of the Moment. I was not Huey Lewis. That's the one when they finally. It's not today.
Asia.
It's Asia.
But I only got 5.
I got 5. Yeah, but it felt like a lot more because it's a dual thing. I think that's why.
Yeah. Someone dies 3 times.
Thrice.
Ghost breath. How many did you get?
I got 5.
I got 5 as well.
Nice.
How many references or trips to 1444 did you get?
I only counted 3.
Me too.
Okay.
How many Sammys did you get?
Krissy, I'm so bad at playing this rule. I only got it 1 time.
I got it twice. Sammy says it and Dean says it.
All right. Oh, maybe I definitely missed the Sammy when Sammy says it.
He says, "Did you just call me Sammy?"
Oh, of course.
I think you did.
Why didn't I think, like, I guess I just didn't. Yeah, just in the same moment. All right.
And then the Ghost Facers, yeah, is our double drink or our shot. Ghost Facers. All right, so that's It's a Terrible Life. What is coming up next?
Coming up next, Krissy, is when I turn the page to my notes, I will tell you season 7, episode 12, time after time.
Oh,
Time after
okay.
time. Time after time.
I don't know
Our
this episode.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
Is this the first time they go? Is this the Elliot Ness episode?
It is the Elliot Ness episode.
Okay.
It's we got like just gird yourself.
Okay.
Gird yourself for Jensen Ackles in the zoot suit.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. Uh, it's a sploosh moment for sure. So the first rule is pop culture reference. There's a lot of
Okay.
pop culture references in this episode. So it's my favorite rule probably to play because I just think the writers are so clever and funny how they get them all in there.
Mhm.
Because you're also just
Mhm.
like, there's no way these two watch as much TV or whatever. Anyway,
They
the
spend all
wife.
their time driving.
Right. There's no way. Maybe in today's time when you got phones, you can watch anything on whatever. Anyway, the next rule is when we get like the red light, the special red light
Okay.
stuff. By the way, there's a lot of rules, but like most of them only hit like a couple times. So
Okay.
when we get a Jody calls, we're taking a drink. This one can be pretty subjective. Whenever you notice some sweet jazz,
Okay.
there's a couple of good jazz moments. Anytime we get quote awesome,
Awesome.
awesome. To go with that rule, anytime someone is like lost in translation is what I wrote down. So like, because we go back to the 40s, so when it's like, you know, like someone's like what, either way, whether it's a future person being like what do you mean, or a past
Past
person.
person
Yeah.
not understanding the future talk. Okay.
Yes. And that rule sort of goes with awesome. So anyway, and then Dean, anytime Dean geeks out, just like geeks out in general, uh which I love playing that rule. I've done now like couple time travel episodes, haven't I?
Yeah. You're into the
uh
time travel episodes.
You tell we're Doctor Who fans.
Mm.
And then we just drink in remembrance of Bobby.
Okay.
Whenever we're remembering Bobby, we're taking a drink. We're taking a drink for a BM scene.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite rules.
Yep. As always, we're drinking for ganking. Like when they say gank, not someone dies, just
Okay.
when they say gank. And then our shot is when we get a good smooch.
Ooh,
Big
I love
old
a smooch.
kiss. So a lot of rules, but like I said, most of the times they're hitting just like one or two times. So
Okay.
yeah. But there's a couple. The pop culture references is going to be your one you're going to want to pay attention to the most for sure.
That's the easiest one to miss.
Right. And especially in this episode, like even when watching it kind of my first time through, I was like, I wrote it down very first thing. And then as it was going, I was like, oh God, it's going to hit
It's
a
gonna
lot.
hit.
I'm going to have to really pay attention on the rewatch.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that is our episode for tonight. Thank you for listening. If you want more Nate and Krissy, then you got to become a member. That's what you got to do. If you're here with us at the end, throw us $5 a month, help support the show, become a member at truestory.fm. Also, when you're at truestory.fm, you can find out all about Nate and Krissy and the Neighborhood Comedy Theater. You'll find links there to all our social media and to the theater and all that important stuff. So definitely check that out and, like, rate, review, thumbs up, star, show us a little love wherever you're listening. We appreciate it so much. Nate, and just in case people don't have time to go to truestory.fm, where can they find us in the real world?
In the real world, all sorts of places. But you can find out where to find us and what time at nctphoenix.com. That is the website for the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, which is where you can find us. Yeah, all the dates and deets are on there. I won't say any specifics in case you're listening to this in the far future. But if you go to
Yeah.
nctphoenix.com, so long as the domain is still being paid for, which I think it is for the time being, you can not to make it sound like it wouldn't be. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
don't
just
know. That was weird.
go there and click on show times, and you can find out where to find us. And yeah,
Yeah, and while
yeah.
you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business, be sure to keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party
Party
on,
on,
dudes.
dudes.